Hello and welcome to MonoRants at the Movies, a podcast where we rant about our favourite cult and lesser known films to varying degrees of spoilerosity. I'm one of your hosts and jack of all trades Mono, and sat astride the great goat is my co-host and master of none Ciara. Hail Satan, Ciara.
Hail Satan!
That's right, from the Lord of Hell to the Lords of Salem, we're talking Rob Zombie's 2012 witchy horror. This had middling reviews from critics when it came out, but here at MonoRants we love what we love and you love what we bloody well tell you to love, so critics be damned.
Or I'll beat you with a wooden spoon.
No, this was, how did we come across this one? Just randomly?
This was when I was going through my mad Rob Zombie phase.
Yeah,
where I do this weird thing where I'll get really obsessed with like a particular director or actor or something like that and like consume everything they've ever created in one go.
Yeah, you were very much on a Rob Zombie kick for a while.
Oh god, yeah, Dracula's still like one of my favourite songs of all time then.
Yeah.
But I think this wasn't long after one of the Halloweens had come out.
Well, the first of his Halloweens was 2007, if I recall, and the second was like 2009, 2010, so it was probably his first big release after those, I think.
Yeah, well, you had 10,000 Maniacs and House of a Thousand Corpses, and then he had one released not a while back called 31, which I will not be watching because clowns.
Clowns.
Killer, evil, clowns, no.
But yeah, this one is, his Halloween films aside, because Halloween is already an established thing, this is very much... Toned down is probably not the right word.
It's not as Rob Zombie can be. Like,
the Rob Zombiness is toned down compared to his other films.
Especially the likes of House of a Thousand Corpses and those. They are real, like, caricatures.
Yeah.
It's over the top and it's buckets of blood and it is that real, like, schlocky... and I'm not using schlocky in a bad way. You know I love that
we love
kind
some
of...
schlock.
Like, they're very much that... over dramatic B-movie style.
Yeah, whereas this, and when I say this is toned down, I don't mean to say this is tame.
Oh god,
it's just the Rob Zombiness is toned down.
This would be very much in the style of the 1970s English Hammer horror films. If you think about the original of The Woman in Black, then you've got, in the US, you've got Rosemary's Baby, those type of psychological horrors.
Just
The Omen would be
70s horror in general. Whether it be your Hammer horror in Britain, your like Italian horror from the 70s as well, your Dario Argento or your Gallo.
Yes.
Yeah, you can see the influences in this, and in a good way. Like they're not hammed up references or anything.
No, it's very much a love letter to his childhood growing up watching these movies.
Yeah, this is almost his Rosemary's Baby.
Yeah.
But before we go too much into it,
summary?
An L summary, sure, why not? A late-night radio DJ from Salem receives a mysterious record from a band known only as the Lords. Once played, Heidi's world starts to unravel as she's drawn towards the town's satanic past.
It's a witch movie.
It is a witch movie.
It's a witchy movie. Yeah.
And as usual, it's a relatively simple plot because that's what we cover.
Yeah. It's also incredibly fucked up.
Yeah.
Because it's a witch movie.
I don't know if I've said it on air before, but we've definitely had conversations about, I think that's why we love this one, is because witches aren't focused on an awful lot in horror.
No, and when they are, they're very much the New England portrayal of witches with the pointy hat, the very kind of Disney-fied Wizard of Oz style.
Yeah.
Whereas this is kind of drawing more on the Macbeth witches.
They're very chthonic, I would say. They're very like earthen and like
the
ancient.
older crone. You've got a lot of references in this to the threefold mother, the maiden mother crone imagery.
Yeah.
A lot of what would be considered, well, especially in the 16th century, if you're any good at it, the earth magics, so healers, things like that, who unfortunately were the people who were targeted during these, were people, if you could add. Yeah,
the upshot is we like us some witchy shit.
Yes.
When it's done well, and this is witchy shit done well.
Yeah.
This is definitely witchy shit done well.
This is really nice, and setting it in Salem and actually filming in Salem was a nice touch, because Salem does have this air about it.
Yeah, and it has a particular aesthetic to it as well as a town, even modern day Salem.
Yeah, well, a lot of it is still kind of original settlement in the town centre.
Yeah, but this is one we hadn't actually watched this in quite a few years, and when we sat down to watch it, first watch through, I was like, I wasn't feeling it as much. And then when we sat down to watch it again today before the record, I was like, yeah, I'm feeling it again.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was. It can be a bit of a slow feeling film. That is one negative thing I will say about it.
Yeah.
Like it takes place across 6 days?
Yes.
And we get the days as chapters, and we get like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday coming up on screen. And the first, like for the notes that I took, Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday cover a half a page, and Thursday, Friday and Saturday cover about 4 lines.
Well, so, it does ramp up as it's going on, because the first day, your introduction to Heidi and her life, the first day is the longest day you get, and you get to see...
That's all your character introduction day,
then the next day you kind of have... They've established this is her routine.
Yeah, these are the people she interacts with.
You know, she lives a very quiet life. She never has clothes on.
Yeah, and our very first introduction to Heidi...
Shireen Zombie does not like clothes. They just repel off her body. Mind you, if I looked like that, I'd be naked all the time too.
I just think it's Rob Zombie going, ogle my wife. Look at you dirty cinema goers, you filthy pigs ogling my wife. How dare you ogle my wife. That's just what it comes across as me. He loves putting his wife naked into films.
No, I think clothes just repel off her because she's stunning. Honestly, like if I look like that, I'd be naked all the time.
Yeah.
You know, like in fairness, when she's not totally naked or mostly naked in these little slips that she wears, she's completely covered.
And I will say, like, nudity and prettiness aside, for somebody who does get accused of, like, getting her roles through nepotism...
well, she's in all of his films. She's Michael's mom in Halloween.
Yeah, but...
And that fucking coat, can I just point out, that coat that she wears in this? Because I'm convinced that she just wears her own clothes.
Oh, definitely.
Like, she has to, because nobody else owns those flares, and I want them.
And I said off recording, we were watching it, I think the reason that her, you know, she brings her own clothes is because there's not a lot else to work with for the character.
No, she's very much an empty vessel for the story.
Kinda, yeah. Like, she's, you know, the alternative radio host.
Yes.
She has her her addiction issues in the past, as we discover going on. But other than that, I just have her written down as Manic Pixie Dream Goth.
Yeah, she is a bit that.
Because she's all quirky and cool, and
I really want her apartment, just as an aside.
But yeah, given that she didn't have an awful lot to work with character-wise in the script, she did a really, really good job. Mm. She is probably the standout in this film for me, I would say, acting-wise.
Oh no, Patricia Quinn. I love me some Patricia Quinn. No, like, so I'm biased. I was just delighted to see her.
And this film is...
she is fucking brilliant.
There is a glut of... I wouldn't even call them cameos because they are proper roles, but it's like a who's who of horror and cult people, because you've got Ken Foree, OG Dawn of the Dead actor. Yeah. You've got Patricia Quinn, original Magenta from Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Meg Foster,
Evil Lynn.
Yeah. She's Evil Lynn. She was also in like They Live and a whole load of other stuff, but for the majority of people, Meg Foster is Evil Lynn.
Yeah.
Although she has been in some stuff recently.
The girl who plays Lacey Judy...
Oh, she was in a whole load of early Hammer horror. She was also in a whole load of early, you know, like the X-rated films that you got in the 70s that were the softcore. Yeah. She was in quite a few of those.
Sid Haig is in it. Oh, Maria Conchita Alonso.
Oh, she's brilliant.
From a ton of things, but I always remember from The Running Man.
Yes.
She's in it. Yeah, there's so many.
Oh, God, I just remembered the quilted jumpsuit. Thank you.
Who else is in it? Lisa Marie is in it.
Yes.
There's loads of people, and some of them you wouldn't even cop. Like, I still can't find out where Sid Haig is supposed to be in this film, but he's in it somewhere.
I reckon he's the big hairy goat man.
Yeah, because there's a few, like Johnny Five is in it, and there's another...
But he's in a lot of heavy makeup. There's
he's one of the, like, freaky prosthetic characters.
Because there is actually no digital effects in this. It is all practical.
Probably another one of the reasons why we're so fond of it.
Yes, because you'll never beat that for me. I also like the fact that the way it's shot is very much like a stage show as well. It has that kind of blocking and screening to it where there's a very definite like back, middle and foreground. Yeah. A lot of the flashbacks to the 1600s witch burnings that take place in this, where it's telling the story of the original witches, are done very much in a stage production style. Yeah.
This would be another one of the films that we've reviewed where the visuals are probably way stronger than the plot and character elements. Yes. Now, it didn't get hammered as hard as, say, Bunraku did, but I almost find that kind of weird because Bunraku
It'd be very similar visually.
Well, not even that it'd be similar visually, but Bunraku was so stunningly visual that I was surprised more people didn't comment on it. Whereas this, people did comment on the visuals, but sometimes they kind of moaned about them. But I don't know whether it was just because they were like gory visuals or whatever, but...
What I had seen a lot of is people are very confused about why any of the interactions with Satan, for lack of a better term, are in these very brightly lit, opulent arenas.
Oh, it's class. I love how all that stuff is done in this film.
Yeah, that's because if we're taking this to be Satan as in Lucifer, morning star, these right hand of God,
brightest of all the angels. Yeah.
He doesn't take place in doom and gloom. It's a nice nod to that.
Yeah.
By having things being bright because, he's the great seductor. He dazzles and you can't dazzle in the fucking fiery, smoky pit.
No, and it's the opulence of the surroundings contrasted against the ugliness of the little creature that's supposed to be seducing her, and we'll talk about it later. We'll talk about it later.
Oh, okay.
I called him Mr. Oogie Boogers.
Yes.
Because he looks kind of like a little rotten Mr. Oogie Boogie, and he's going to do some boogering.
He looks a bit like that thing in Harry Potter, the screaming root thing. It's also in Pan's Labyrinth.
That's what I was going to say.
She puts it under the bed.
The little ginger root monster thing.
Yeah, he looks like a big version of that.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I think is really cool about the visuals in this is that it's not...
They're very
organic.
Pitchfork.
It's not the pitchfork and the red horns. It's the weirder depictions that we've seen of Satan and like Belial and Beelzebub and Astaroth and Baphomet. I
have a whole list over there I can start just going through because I have the Greater Seal of Solomon.
But I can't remember which, but one of them, I think, is it maybe Belial, is supposed to be this kind of weird bulbous monster thing.
Yeah, well, Astaroth has like a spider body and...
Yeah, there's another one that's very tall and like...
There's a book I've been meaning to get, which is an encyclopedia of demonology, and that's the one that has all the beautiful pen and ink depictions, which are the kind of now taken as being the classical depictions of these demons.
Yeah,
I'm waiting on it coming back in on the book depository to buy it. But that's kind of where a lot of these depictions of them as being, either bulbous or part beast, that's where that has come from.
Yeah, well, and it's in the same way that angels aren't dudes.
Angels are terrifying.
Wings. Yeah, they're terrifying, multi-faced,
multi-wheeled.
Yeah, multi-wheeled, like not demons, but like creatures. And similarly, Satan and demons aren't guys with horns and red faces and pointy tails and pitchforks. They are these abominations that we see in this film, and I fucking love it. Yeah,
no, it is always nice to get away from kind of almost Eurocentric ideas of angels and demons, because our whole idea of angels as these winged beings is very much a Renaissance artwork idea, because that's what the rich patrons who were paying for these, that's what they wanted to see. And there's always the great example of that statue in Italy. Is it in Italy or is it in Spain? Of the hot Lucifer.
Oh, yeah.
And the church got mad.
He was too hot, so his brother was commissioned to do a new statue.
A new statue, and it was even hotter.
Yeah, an even hotter Lucifer.
I can't remember what it's called. I'm going to have to look it up. But yeah, I'm pretty sure if you Google hot Lucifer statue, you'll find it. Because, he's banging.
Yeah, but...
But that's where a lot of because it was driven by patrons who wanted to display this artwork and maybe have themselves painted in as these figures, we've lost this classical biblical depiction of these kind of terrifying beings, awe-inspiring, which is exactly what they are supposed to be.
Yeah, well, there's like I've said before, there's a reason that when angels appear in the Bible, they say, "Be not afraid."
Yeah,
and it's not because they've appeared as people with wings who are floating above them. It's because they're terrifying visions to behold.
Yeah, even in the tamest descriptions of them, they're still about 60 foot tall.
Yeah.
Blinding lights, like wings with thousands of eyeballs in them.
Yeah.
And I remember my scripture lecturer always kind of describing it as these were shepherds, which means that these guys were also part-time army.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, these were not, sheltered people.
Yeah, they were hardy men.
These were hardy men who had seen a lot of shit. So yeah, for them to be scared of something.
Yeah.
And that whole meaning of it has been lost, whereas this digs into that and pulls back out these very kind of visceral images.
Yeah, and
that are meant to talk to the kind of the primal part of us.
Particularly how the witches are portrayed as well.
Yes.
Is very bacchanalian is probably the best word to describe it. Like they're
dryads.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But their
It's the
nudity
same.
and their orgy is not sexual at all. It is just this, like, it's portrayed as this just giving into not even animalistic urges, but just like base and debase urges, you know?
Yeah.
I think she even says that they are to debase themselves at the start.
Well, especially when because the opening sequence, which is the introduction of this coven of witches, this coven of six,
in
and
the
their leader,
1690s, yeah.
who's Margaret
Morgan.
Morgan.
Good old Mags Morgan.
Yeah, and good old Reverend Jonathan Hawthorne.
Yeah.
Who actually was a real person.
Yeah.
Ancestor of Nathaniel Hawthorne, who wrote The Scarlet Letter.
Yeah.
So it is Puritan-based society, extremely restrictive. Women were chattel. So to be even able to meet up and to give into this was like the ultimate release and the ultimate spit in your face to everything their society deemed of them, everything they'd been raised to believe.
Yeah, and for them, especially then, it is literally a reversal of everything.
Yes.
Going out at night instead of the day, going out with other women instead of men, running around naked, worshipping the devil instead of worshipping God.
Yeah.
It's just everything is flipped, and it's just he portrays it really well in this because all the babbling that you get from the witches is done. It's never silly sounding. It always does sound like somebody speaking in tongues and somebody who's like nearly possessed or rabid.
No, I do enjoy it quite a lot because I'm very fond of the Salem witches in general. I'm a big fan of the history of witchcraft. Fan is kind of the wrong word to use there. It's something that really does interest me.
Well, we do. We like us some macabre shit.
Yeah, well, I have a copy of Malleus Maleficarum.
Yeah. But
I like the fact that in this it's given as these events happened.
Yeah.
It's not, and...
Well, no. There were no real witches in Salem.
No, it was probably ergot poisoning.
But yeah, no, there is, the modern day stuff does try and kind of base itself more around historical accuracy. Yeah. Not entire accuracy. There are some things that are wrong in it, but it's like the show Salem.
Yeah.
They went, we'll try and keep everything historical except there were actual witches.
Yes.
So you have to allow us that one liberty.
And also what I always think is so funny is so much literature has come out and material comes out focused on the Salem witches, which was a 4, maybe 5 year event.
Yeah.
And then you get very, very little about the European witch prosecutions. There was like witch persecutions in Scotland, England, Germany.
Oh, it was massive in Germany.
It was part of the Inquisition. The Inquisition went on for 400 years.
And the Inquisition actually gets a worse rap than it was.
Yeah.
Because there was
It
certainly...
It was a little bit more cake or death.
it usually was closer to it.
Than people actually realise. Whereas
they did announce when they were coming.
The German prosecution of witches is a lot closer to kind of what
we think of when we think of the Spanish Inquisition.
Yes, but when we think of witches being
burned at the stake and ducked in ducking stools and
all sorts of horrible things, all of that sort of thing, and that's what Malleus Maleficarum is. It's a diary of the head witch hunter. And the things that they did to people are inhumane, and it was all done in the name of God. Just to add that on.
Oh, like all good causes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But whereas when you read accounts of what happens in Salem, it was nowhere near as drastic.
No, well, most of them any of them that were killed were hung.
Most died of starvation in prison.
Well, yeah, and there was only very few. I don't even.
There was the guy
who says
who was
25
pressed.
in this,
yeah.
But I don't even think there was that many.
No, there was a few who died in prison awaiting trial. There was the gentleman that was pressed to death.
Yeah.
But there wasn't the traditional burning at the stake. In fact, the only person I know of that actually died via burning of the stake is Joan of Arc. Traditionally, they would shoot them with an arrow, put them out of their misery, whereas they built the flame so high that nobody could get to her, cut her down.
Yeah.
And they've had to listen to her scream to death.
Hooray!
But that's the only account that I'm kind of aware of them actually...
burning witches.
Burning somebody.
Yeah, or burning somebody for witchcraft.
That didn't really happen.
But it makes a better visual.
It does make it is that visual, again, that of the very traditional witches tied up.
Yeah, but we are gonna talk a lot about the visuals in this film.
Yes.
So will we break it up a little bit and talk about maybe character and plot and dialogue and stuff? Because some of the characters in this are quite fun. And then some of them are just there.
Yeah. It's important to note that this was actually... what we see in this film is actually probably only about a third of what was filmed.
I don't know if it's a third of what was filmed. It's a third of I'd say
It's material?
of material that exists for it, because he made like some films within the film and there was a lot cut out, but then he wrote a novelization of the film that's closer to the original script of the movie.
There are some parts in it where it does seem like they were going off in another direction and had to bring it back in.
Yeah, nothing as bad as other things we talked about where I was like, why the fuck did they include that?
Yeah, like Bits of Dog Soldiers had that where they'd cut out the setup for the sequel.
Yeah, like focusing on the cut on her hand and then never referring to it again.
It's not as bad in this, but as well with the style of the movie it is, unless you were looking for it.
Yeah.
You wouldn't notice it. Or you might be like, that was kind of weird. And then pass it off as being, well, the whole film's kind of weird.
Yeah. And there's a few bits in this that strike me as weird. And you agreed with me on one or two of them.
Yeah.
When one of our characters is Francis Matthias.
He should have been Francis Mathers.
He should have been Francis Mather. It would have been a nice tie to Salem again.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's Bruce Davison. But yeah, Francis Matthias is like the academic of he's kind of like the Dr. Loomis in Halloween to this film. And he goes to see another academic.
He's the Van Helsing almost of this.
Yeah, he kind of is. And his journey from academic to, academic skeptic to believer in this is a bit of a weird one.
Yeah, I wouldn't know if I call him believer, but I think it's enough that there's too many coincidences.
Yeah, no, and in the second watch through that we did, I was like, okay, actually, no, it's not as bad as I thought it was. But the academic that he goes to see has some weird ass lines where he's asked about a diary, and he's like, oh, I suppose you're talking about the diary of Jonathan Hawthorne. And the delivery of the line, you expect him to follow it up with, that was a fake, or you can't believe a word you read in that. But
because he went mad with the syphilis or something like that is what you're expecting. That it would have just been, because he admits that he's obsessed with, that Jonathan Harker admits himself in the diary that he has this obsession with Meg Morgan and her Coven of Six. And you're full on expecting him to be like, yes, but he wrote that diary while he was in a sanatorium being treated because he had lost his mind over this.
It's just the delivery of it is weird, because you're expecting him to say, oh no, you can't believe anything that you're reading it, but then he basically says that believe everything you're reading it.
And then he's going on, because it turns out that when the original Coven were rounded up and burned to death by Jonathan Hawthorne in 1616, she curses the entire town. Yeah. And she curses the women of the town.
And she curses Jonathan Hawthorne's line specifically, saying that
they'll basically be the vessel for the Antichrist. And she literally says they will be the vessel for the Antichrist.
They will be the vessel by which the Dark Lord inherits the earth or something like that. Yeah. And the academic goes, whatever the fuck that means. It's pretty fucking obvious what that means, dude. What sort of shitty academic are you? And that was a weird one. The devil worshipping black metal guy they have on the radio station at the start.
He was hilarious.
But again, the setup for that was almost like,
I just felt like as radio hosts they're incredibly rude to him.
But that was it. Because they were so rude to him, I almost thought it was like, in films, say like in Drag Me to Hell, she's rude.
I've never seen that.
Okay, but you'll know this. You know the setup. Somebody is rude to a gypsy. Gypsy puts a curse on them. Somebody is rude to a bunch of hillbillies in the store, and that's why they deserve to be chased and killed by hillbillies up the cabins. It's spoiled prince slaps door in face of homeless person, ends up beast for 20 years. Yeah, it's that, but it's transgression against somebody who doesn't deserve it, other than them being different, leads to bad things happening to the protagonist of the movie or the cartoon or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's what it felt like in this, was like, oh, they ripped the piss out of this guy, so that's why he picks Heidi as the victim. That's what it felt like the setup was, but then he's just never in it again. He's just a black metaler they make fun of, who introduces some of the themes of Satanism and stuff into it.
Yeah, he takes himself a wee bit too seriously.
Oh God, well, as most black metalers do. I don't think we have any Norwegian listeners, so it's safe to say that black metalers are they're fucked in the head.
No, well, yeah, some of them are a bit intense.
Yeah, they do. They take themselves too seriously. And you see that in the video of his band.
Oh,
that's
it's
Rob
so
Zombie
funny.
and a couple of Johnny Five and a couple of other musicians have just intentionally made the most black metal sounding song they can, and it's just garbage.
And then there's just and the video as well where they're in all the mad face paint.
Yeah,
because that's honestly part of a big reason why I never got into black metal is I don't have the time.
No, I don't have
That all takes work, and I just can't be bothered.
Man. Like, the same reason I couldn't have been a full-on goth or anything like that. It's just the whole thing.
That's the fun thing
effort.
about being a metalhead is you just show up as you are.
Yeah, like just no. Fucking no, there's too
much effort going on there.
Too much fucking effort. But yeah, there's a few weird bits like that, and the dialogue in the film is nothing to write home about, but the witchy dialogue is excellent.
Yes.
When the witches are calling out to Satan, and there's a bit later on, I don't want to get too spoilery, but where a couple of characters have a go at our academic, and just the lines that they're delivered are brilliant.
Yes.
They're really fun.
It is a very bizarre little film.
Yeah, story-wise, I feel like there are parts lacking in the story.
Yeah, so basically, it follows her over the course of the 6 days. So on day 1, she wakes up, she walks her dog, she goes to her job, she comes home with one of the other guys, walks her home, and I think
the other radio host.
It's supposed to be they've had some on again, off again thing is kind of what I got going on there.
Yeah, the only note I have for his character is friend-zoned guy who actually gets sex.
Yeah,
because that's what he comes across as. He's in the friend zone, but occasionally he gets out of it and has sex with her.
Yeah, so she's been left this record in a box at the reception of the radio station. They take that home. They're hanging out, having a good time. They try and play this. He goes to put it on. It's really nice touches. He goes to put the record on, and the needle keeps slipping.
Yeah.
And she goes, "Oh no, bugger off!" And he's done it 3 or 4 times, and she's able
just
to
twice. He does it.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's just twice.
And she's able then to play it because it's sent to her.
Apparently, actually, the production crew had an awful time of trying to get the thing to skip intentionally.
Skip through, yeah.
They
just
were
take
putting
the needle off.
Yeah, they were putting like bits
it'll
of
just run across.
They were putting like bits of epoxy and stuff on the record to try and make the needle go straight across, so it would skip the grooves. And nothing was working, and then somebody was like, "Why don't we just take the needle off and add a sound effect?
Because the arm will just cut across." Yeah.
So that's what they did for that one.
And
but yeah, it's a nice touch because it won't
play for him, and she puts it on, and it starts playing this music, and it's this real low dirge, very primal beat. It's based off
a Phrygian scale,
which is a forbidden scale.
Well, it's not that it's a forbidden scale. The Phrygian scales are the very deeper sounding scales, but they were banned
by the Benedictines because
the Benedictine monks weren't allowed to play Phrygian scales because it was supposedly
it would summon the demons.
Yeah, dark and demonic.
It's a very nice touch to use that.
And it is very unsettling sounding music. It's great.
It gets in your head too, because it's almost got a hypnotic quality to it.
Yeah, it's just 4 notes on repeat.
Yeah, it's a very low beat.
Yeah, it's 4 notes on repeat.
Yeah, but it's slightly off as well. And it has an effect on Heidi as she's listening to this, and she starts to zone out, and she's experiencing flashbacks of what happened to this Coven of 6. So this is where we're getting kind of the back history is coming through this, and every time she hears this music, it's kind of triggered. This is a triggering event for her.
Yeah, and as the week wears on, she slips into more and more of these like visions. Yeah, and
it starts. This is the start of the sanity slipping. Yeah, and she's beginning to question herself. You get to see then on the next day that this is where you find out that has some form of addiction issue. She goes.
This is our 4th film where we cover.
People declining.
We had
horror.
Midnight Meat Train, Ravenous, Event Horizon, and now this. And I suppose technically Edgar in A Perfect Creature.
Yeah, he has a mental decline.
4.5 films.
But good horror should have a cerebral.
And we do like our psychological horrors where people go a bit nuts.
Yeah, but that's the fun thing about people going crazy. That's like why The Shining is so good.
Yeah.
It's Jack's downfall. You don't know whether it's real or not, because when you're watching it through the eyes of the crazy person. The best example is in BioShock when you're playing as the little sister.
Oh yeah.
And
I'd say
yeah, and everything's all like roses. So as you're following her and you're beginning to question what's going on and does she see it, or it's starting to play tricks on you. Yeah,
it's all that side of the story I'm fine with. I think it's like the radio host guys. There's not enough going on with them. No, I mean, I can't complain. Whitey is one thing, the friend zone guy.
Yeah, but the other guy, the other Herman.
I'm not going to complain too much about the other Herman because it's Ken Forey, and Ken Forey can do no wrong. But yeah, they kind of underutilized him. He has a couple of cool lines and he gets a bit pissed off with her for being on gear and being unreliable, but he is concerned and he has a few lines about, telling her to get sleep and make sure she eats food. But other than that, there's not really anything to him.
No, I do like driving well sexy.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, not knowing how much was cut out from the movie within the movie that was going on in this. You don't know whether or not they were underutilized or if they were supposed to go and do something else. Like, there's no obvious kind of...
And there's no special edition DVD of this that I'm aware of, and there's no director's commentary on the DVD that we have, so
it's answers on a postcard if you know what happened to the rest of this.
Yeah, definitely. But it's just some of the characters just fall a bit flat for me, and I was reading some reviews that actually quite praised the characters, but it was more in contrast to the outlandish characters he has in his other films, that these are more kind of realistic people. Yeah. Which they are.
They are. There were a lot more actually, could be real people doing a real thing.
Yeah, there's not a lot of backstory or characterization to them, but then I also complained about this film seeming a bit slow, so if you added in more of that, I think I want the moon on a stick in this case.
Yeah. I honestly could have done without them entirely.
Yeah, it's like that. Like, we could have cut them out and just had her as...
And it could have, it's not an overly long film, but you could have had more of...
You could have had her as the radio host and had other interactions with, she could still have people on as guests, like Bruce.
Yeah,
Francis Matthias comes on
as a guest to promote his new book about the witches of Salem.
Yeah, and you could maybe then just have had one friend character instead of the two other hosts.
Yeah.
One friend character who's concerned for her.
Yeah.
Yeah, they could have maybe cut some of that out and fleshed out a little bit more.
Yeah, can we also point out that they're bad friends because they let him get into the car and drive after he's had a couple of shots of tequila?
We don't see him. She says that the shots of tequila are the reason that she wants to walk home.
Yeah, but he's
he makes a DWI, DWS joke, but yeah, I don't know. Well, I don't condone drink driving anyway.
No.
Certainly not. But yeah, no, it's just there's a few things like that they're not deal breakers by any means, because the visuals are so strong in it, the freaky witch and satanic shit is so strong in it, and the story is not weak. There's just a few little holes in it.
It almost has a feeling like they were like, there's not enough men in this film. We need to put some men in there.
Yeah, I suppose.
It kind of came across a little bit of Sean Bean in Silent Hill to me, that they looked at the script, the studio looked at the script and went, there's no guy in this.
Yeah, you've got a group of
as
old witches.
As opposed to just having, it would have just been Jonathan Hawthorne and...
in the past.
And Matthias in the present.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, it could have been a bit of that. It's certainly, their inclusion certainly isn't as jarring as Sean Bean's in Silent Hill, but yeah, there could be an element of that, alright. And again, we got Ken Forey, so I'm not going to complain.
It was just because it's left very open-ended with them as well, so they just kind of fall off halfway through the film.
Well, it's a little bit more than halfway through the film, but yeah, they do. They kind of left it's a bit open-ended, and I did have some questions, but we can't really talk about it without going super spoilery for the ending. But back to the visuals, because some of them
it's a visual heavy film. There's a lot of influence from Stanley Kubrick going on in it, especially with shots of Stanley Kubrick's very famous stills of long hallways.
Oh yeah, and the focus shots.
But he's doing it from a higher angle so that things are kind of getting cut off at the knees, and it gives it this really weird feeling.
And plus, everything in the day and her normal day-to-day life is very bleak and washed-out colours.
Yes.
And then anything to do with the Satan-y stuff is
very
all bright and rich colours. Yeah.
And there's a lot of use of neon imagery and signs and those insane tacky Jesus signs and things like that. There's a lot of that going on. Yeah, there's quite a few tacky... Yeah, there's actually nearly any of the Christian imagery is all tacky neon lights. Baz Luhrmann's Romeo and Juliet, the way the church is done with that, with the neon crosses, that's anytime I see neon crosses, that's what it is for me, is that kind of super American style.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. Oh, one thing that cracked me up just for us watching it. You know, in the kind of the first witch scene where they're trying to birth an antichrist.
Yes, and she licks the baby.
They birth a baby and she sniffs at it and she licks it and she decides that it's not actually the spawn of Satan. And she spits in its face a few times.
Yeah.
And we're supposed to be all like, oh no, how horrible, she's spitting in a baby's face. As we watch that, I totally felt like, Archer, You know, in that scene in the episode of Archer where he gets kidnapped and gets the chip put in his brain?
Yes.
And they try and lure him by saying that a baby has just been kidnapped or a baby has fallen down something. And she's like, oh my god, my baby has just been stolen. And Archer turns around and looks at her and goes, who gives a shit about a little baby? That's very much how I felt watching her spit in the face of that child. I was like, nah, that doesn't elicit the emotional response you want from me, Rob Zombie.
Character has a great line later on about children. And I was like, yes!
Yeah, no.
But I don't like children.
Totally. It probably says more about me than anything else. But yeah, Rob Zombie did not elicit the response that he wanted out of me for that spitting in a baby's face. I was just like, nah, don't care. Yeah, you spit in that baby's face, Meg Foster. You do what you please. He's not the spawn of Satan. Get rid of him. Yeah, I just that cracked me up a little bit.
Yeah, no, there's a couple of bits in that was like, yeah, but I don't like children, so.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I do love the visuals of the witches and how they are portrayed, and they are just ragged and dirty and...
Well, they've been relegated to the outskirts of society.
Stop defending satanic witches.
No, I'm sorry, but the women that were persecuted in
Ciara,
the Salem witch trials...
Two entirely different things. Fictional satanic witches and innocent women who got murdered.
I know.
You can defend one, you cannot defend the other.
I can defend them for being awesome.
But yeah, no, they're two separate things.
The portrayal of the modern day witches in this is hilarious.
Yes, they are very fun.
They're so much fun.
Yeah, not going to name names. You'll if you've watched it, you'll know exactly who we're talking about. If you haven't watched it, we're not spoiling anything. But yeah, there are some modern day witches that are very fun in this, and I do like that there's an element, I think, in the casting where they cast two very familiar or very similar looking people for two particular roles that I think works well.
Yeah.
I'll say no more than that.
Oh, that felt good.
Yeah, no, there are some there that probably the more fun characters this where the radio
there's
DJs
there's a lot of very dark humour in what they're doing.
Yes.
Also, the interaction between the three of them is just so much fun.
Oh, it's fantastic. Anything in this film that you didn't like? I've talked about a couple of things I didn't like.
There's a couple of things that I think there's one scene in particular, and we've discussed it off air, that I just feel goes on for too long.
Yeah, regarding who I talked about earlier, yes. Mr. Ugly Boogers.
Yeah, there's a scene involving him that I think just goes on for too long, especially considering the following scene follows up on it. That's about the only thing that bothered me about it, plus the flashback then at the very end where she's playing with the dog. I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't understand that either. Well, we'll stick with Mr. Ugly Boogers for a minute. Because, yeah, when we watched it the first time, like I really like visually how that scene is done.
Yes. It's very unexpected.
But because they linger on that shot for just a bit
long.
too long, it takes away some of the effect of it, I think. But also because they linger on it for so long, and with the finale of the film, at the climax of the film, there's similar stuff happens. But it almost makes what happens at the end seem less important because what goes on with Mr. Ugly Boogers goes on for too long. Whereas, so it kind of makes you feel like, and I think I said off air, I was like, well, hang on. If that's what she's doing now at the end of the film, what did she do with Mr. Ugly Boogers earlier on in the film?
Preparation.
Yeah, was it just prep? Is he Satan's fluffer?
Then he's on the wrong one.
True. But yeah, they just linger on too long. And I mentioned the show Salem earlier.
Yes.
That's a show that does...
The opening sequence of that show is the whole reason I made you watch it, with her in the woods.
Yeah.
And that little small, almost like the Judder Man.
Yeah, and there's a few scenes throughout the show of Salem where they do things like that, where it is based around brides of Satan and things like that, and sleeping with demons and things like that. And the way it's done in the show Salem, with all these just flickering images, they're so unsettling. Whereas because you got a good look at what was going on in this.
And like most things, if you're going to only show something, either show it heavily shadowed, which they do really, really well up to that point.
Yeah.
Is a lot of things are in shadow and flickering light, and always flickering shadows will always distort appearance. whereas this is fully lit.
Yeah, that, I mean, we've said it 2 or 3 times before.
Don't show me the monster in full light unless it is really creepy.
Yeah, and certainly don't focus on it for ages, because there's 2 instances that really ruined films for me in other films where they focus on things for too long.
In the new It, when Pennywise goes to bite and the eyes go cockeyed,
when Pennywise goes to take Georgie's arm, and his eyes go cockeyed and his mouth goes all around and he goes, ah, and they focus on it for too long. I pissed myself laughing and immediately said out loud, that's it, there's no scare in this clown anymore for the rest of this film.
And I have really bad coulrophobia, and you've seen it in action, and I think that movie is garbage because he does not scare me.
Yeah, and the other one that
whereas Tim Curry does.
The other one that really annoys me is the Hills Have Eyes remake, where the first mutant reveal, we see this kind of disfigured hand grab a teenage girl, and you're like, oh no, and then it really, the slowest pan out I've ever seen in a film, monster, it zooms out really slowly up the monster's arm until we just see him in full light, and he's just this mutant-y monster guy standing there, and he's not scary at all.
Yeah, because
this isn't as bad as this, but they hold it for too long.
Yeah. Because when you think about good monster reveals that you have, especially when you go back to the old Hammer horrors, it is that one cut lit with the big dramatic sting, and then it'll cut away straight away. So you only there's one with Boris Karloff.
Yeah, and we're not talking jump scares here.
No, but in terms of reveals, whereas this, I don't know. It just, that was the one thing that didn't sit right with me. I just felt like I was
especially because it's an otherwise fantastic scene. That's the one we were talking about earlier, with the opulence and the bright lighting
and
a
the brilliant use of Mozart's Requiem as well in it.
Yeah.
And it also, Shri Moon Zombie really phones it in this scene as well. She looks bored.
Yeah, in that one shot that we're saying goes on for too long. Yeah, I think she's didn't know what to do.
I know she's supposed to be drugged
in a trance. Yeah,
but it just, I don't know.
Yeah, no, that was a bit weird, and the scene, the flashback bit with the dog at the end was just bizarre.
It was like, we just had this and we wanted to put it in there somewhere.
Yeah, it was almost like an Oscars fucking in memoriam bit, and it was like, I don't get that.
I think that might have actually been leftover footage from Halloween.
It nearly could have been. It nearly could have been.
Yeah, that's about the only thing that really, really bothers me about it.
Yeah,
there's not much else.
The shitty academics kind of cracked me up a little bit.
Yeah, I just felt that was like, the guy didn't know what he was doing, or somebody whoever wrote it.
Yeah, whoever wrote it doesn't.
Whoever wrote that scene has never
doesn't know
witnessed academics talking about shit that if you've written
especially
a book
their subject matter. Yeah. Yeah, academics who you talk to an academic about their subject matter.
Especially ones that are into kind of niche stuff like this, they're like.
Yeah, and you will probably never hear an academic say about their specific subject matter and their specific field, whatever the fuck that means.
Yeah. No, but it's like, I must find out.
And even Matthias makes some astounding jumps to the point where his artsy fartsy wife has to be like,
can we just have a moment of praise for Maria Conchita Alonso having a spliff in the bath in this film? And she's given out to him and she's like, I'm busy, I'm in the bath, what do you want? Leave me alone.
Yeah, can't we wait a few minutes until you want me to deal with your stupid witchy shit?
Yeah, bring me the piano, I can play it from the bath.
Yeah, that there was one line that really kind of annoyed me where they're talking about fate versus destiny.
Yeah.
And it was just a poor explanation of the definition and the differences between fate versus destiny. That was just like shit. I feel like the scriptwriter was just like shit. I don't know how to write this.
Wrote himself into a corner.
Yeah, wrote himself into a corner and was just like, if I just go vague, people won't question it. But I'm questioning it, buddy. I'm questioning it. Yeah, no, that there wasn't really anything else that massively bothered me. As I said, there was a couple of plot and character elements. There's a few small bits of weak writing, but the visuals are so strong, and the freaky witchy shit and the freaky satanic shit is so freaky and awesome.
It's so rare that you get a really good witch film.
Yeah.
And considering...
Again, if we're wrong, tell us why and give us suggestions.
If you also have suggestions for really good witch films, I would very much like it. And if you suggest a Blair Witch Project, I saw it when I was 13 in the cinema when it came out.
Yeah, we said good witch film.
I could have done without seeing it.
Oh, and for a fucking wedged in Stargate reference, because I'll get one wherever I can. One of her like freaky dream sequences where she's has a weird cesarean and gives birth to a kind of sluggy looking baby.
Yes.
I thought looked very much like a ghoul symbiote.
It did. It looked better than the potato spawn.
Which potato spawn?
There was a potato spawn at some point.
Oh, sorry, yeah, the weird fetus on the cross thing towards the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, that looked a bit crap.
It looked like the potato, you're one who tried to fix the portrait of Jesus in Spain.
Oh, yeah.
And they made Potato Christ.
Yeah, the Potato Christ. It was.
It looked a bit like that. It also looks a little bit like the baby from Brain Dead, so they might have just reused the model.
That freaky end montage as well was a bit. It was like.
It was a bit heavy on the nose with the owl symbolism.
A touch, and it was a
but
bit.
But apparently people still didn't get it.
Yeah, people didn't get the very ending and what happened to Heidi's character. I thought it was very straightforward and obvious. Yes. We can't really go into it. If you don't get it, look it up. I thought it was pretty obvious, as I say.
Yeah.
But no, just the montage before the end where there's loads of like flashing images and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
It was parts of it were like goth Terry Gillingham and other parts
of it. The little animation bits I really enjoyed.
But other parts
I really enjoyed them.
The neon bits reminded me of like cartoons when somebody goes on a drunken bender and they're going past all the neon bar signs.
Yeah.
It was
or Bender when he's on his electricity buzz.
It was a bit too music video-y for me.
Yeah, it did get a bit music video, especially the way it was completely framed, where they're in the room and it's all lit around the edges.
I think it's the animated stuff. It's specifically the Terry Gillingham-y dark animated stuff.
If it had been
made it so, because everything else has just been freaky imagery and flashes of things. Nothing was animated.
Yeah.
So if they had taken those out and just put in a few of the other weird images, like you had plenty of weird images going on in that scene that totally did it for me. That really cool. That just do more of that. Don't put in this weird animated style that you haven't used anywhere else in the movie.
I did enjoy the animated things because I felt like it kind of gave you a sense of things crossing over.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah,
it's the blurring of lines. It's
the bleeding through of realities. Yeah, I get it. I don't know. Maybe I thought there was they could have done it a better way. I mean, what the fuck do I know? I'm sitting on the couch here in a dressing gown telling Rob Zombie he did wrong. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know better than Rob Zombie. I don't know better than critics, despite what I say.
Yeah.
But, like, I know what I like and I know what I don't like, and that, for some reason, there was just something a little bit off about those animated bits for me. I otherwise still love the movie.
I like them. I enjoyed them. I liked them in the context of that montage, and it's very rare that I like a montage. So...
yeah. And I mean...
I generally feel that montages are unnecessary.
And I loved the really freaky fucking imagery.
Yes.
Like, I not that I don't like gory shit, but I'll take freaky imagery that like fucks with my head over people getting ripped apart and scary monsters that are gonna like chase you down and kill you.
Yeah.
Like, I like this shit. I like Clive Barker horror. I like stuff that...
Well, I'm a big fan of Gustav Dor's artwork, which is all like, if you've ever seen any copy of Paradise Lost, Lucifer Falling is one of his most famous images. That Bosch, I'm a big fan of any of that. Well,
speaking of Bosch and speaking of the fact that we've mentioned Salem, can I just give a quick shout out to the scene at the end of Salem where Cotton Mather goes into hell and we get to see what hell looks like in the show, and it is literally like a live action Hieronymus Bosch painting.
Yes.
Fucking amazing. I know it's not in this film, but it's fucking amazing.
Although we might have to do one now on Salem because we've been talking about it so much.
We could maybe do a mini Salem series.
God, I love me some witchy depictions that are done like that.
And props in this to fucking to Meg Foster just being the best.
Down with
fantastic witchiness. Fantastic witchiness in this.
It's very nice to see because Meg Foster, I would watch an awful lot of kind of like teen dramas. But she did show up in the originals as a witch. Only in this, she is a descendant of Salem. No, she's a French witch. But she's a very elegant grande dame of a coven. Completely opposite to this very, very kind of feral.
Yeah.
This is very similar to the depiction of the witches in American Horror Story Roanoke.
Yes.
That slightly more feral witch.
Yeah. The original old world witch that comes out that Lady Gaga plays, isn't it? Yeah. And I like those witches. I like witches that are supposed to be
of the earth.
Yeah, of the earth, and nothing to do with Satan. I know in this one they are linked to Satan.
Yeah, but more the Wiccan style.
Yeah, it's like no, I mean, surely there was witches and witchcraft long before Christianity, like, and why would that have stopped just because Christianity rolled around? And you get some of that in Salem as well, where there's the different types of witches.
Yeah.
But in
Tituba being a Haitian.
In this, you have kind of a combination of those old Catonic, old world witches with the Satan worshipping witches, and it works really well.
It does. And then they cross over of imagery as well. Whereas all the very Catholic imagery is all the very neon, modern depictions. And then what their depictions are the older world style. With the goat and that sort of thing. And
I do like how I don't know certain things about this film. Like I was saying about the two characters who are cast similar, who look quite similar, who are cast so that you kind of might think, is that her? But also, I could be wrong, but because the credits are very confusing, because everybody in the credits has a fucking name, but not everybody on screen gets goddamn named. So I don't know who's who, but there's a bunch of women who are named in this, and I'm pretty sure they're supposed to be the original witches of the Coven.
The Coven of Six, and then they appear in the modern world as supposedly the descendants of.
I don't think they're supposed to be the descendants of the witches. I think it was just
what it is that these were the descendants of the original inhabitants of Salem. They just happen to look exactly the same.
Sorry, they're the descendants of the original inhabitants of Salem, but the ones that we see being entranced by the music are played by the girls who play the six witches, and I just thought that was a nice touch. I don't think it's supposed to be actually saying they are the descendants of those witches.
That's kind of what I took it as.
Well, but the witches aren't trying to entrance other witches, they're trying to entrance the daughters of Salem. Yeah. But again, as I say, it was probably just a case of they were like, we need 6 extras for these scenes. Girls, do you want to get like washed off and scrubbed up and put in some normal clothes and film this scene for us so we don't have to hire anybody else? But it adds a little bit to the film. And I'd say I like that we both took this different reading from it, because there are bits of it where you're not explicitly told what's going on.
But, no, the whole reason I kind of felt that was because when they were talking about they play this record on the air and you get these scenes of these women focusing in on it, but then when the author goes home to talk to the wife and he asks her, did she hear the music, and she's like, oh yeah, no, it was
she's
grand.
Fine. Yeah.
And then it's mentioned later on that she's not a lifer of Salem.
Yeah, no. The 6 women that we see entranced are descendants of the original daughters of Salem. Yeah. Not the witches who we saw burned.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I think you're getting confused about something that's confusing me.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to stop talking about it because we're both going to get...
Are you saying those women are descendants of the witches?
I think they're the descendants of the witches.
Oh yeah, okay, alright, yeah. That's fine.
And that's why they're called into it. They hear the call because that's the same music that they used to play at night. That's why he wrote it down on the manuscript.
Yeah, whereas I think that
I think that's the original ones that drew them. So then at the climax they appear.
No, see, I think that's supposed to be the original witches that reappear at the climax.
But they're also there, they get focused on.
But again, nice that we can take different things from it, and that it's not wholly explained, because you can talk about these things, and you can parse them out, and you can just have it dwell in different ways, like...
Oh, and this movie will dwell on you.
Yeah, no, some of the imagery will stick with you, and it's one of those ones that you can just think about afterwards.
Yeah. And none of the imagery that's used, it's not like Event Horizon, which I would strongly not recommend watching whilst eating. This doesn't do that. But
it's not gory.
If you're of a nervous disposition, this is not one to watch in the house by yourself.
No, it's not gory, and it's
unsettling.
It's not scary.
It's very unsettling.
It's unsettling, and it's like freaky in parts.
It lingers.
And it'll linger. But it's not like, you won't feel the same after, like, say, a suspense horror, like, you know what I mean? Like, oh no, the ghost is going to climb out and strangle me. You know what I mean? You're just going to
be me watching The Ring, having a freak out.
Yeah, exactly. You're not going to be like that after watching this. It's just...
having to get the train home by myself at night, coming out of the cinema after watching The Ring.
Yeah.
I'm fucking terrified.
Yeah, no, it's not one of those kind of films, and I think that's why I do enjoy it. It's definitely different. It's definitely different from Rob Zombie's other films.
Yes.
Most definitely different from his other films. And I think, if you go into it thinking, oh yeah, this will be a Rob Zombie film, like House of a Thousand Corpses, or...
No, it's very much not like that. This would be a lot closer to the likes of Rosemary's Baby, The Shining.
Yeah,
it's a slow burner.
It's definitely a slow burner. Too slow in parts, I would say. But
even if you like modern, newer ones, like say like Black Swan, it would be kind of very similar to a lot of Darren Aronofsky's work.
Yeah, well, I'm not as great with new horror.
Yeah.
Anything kind of even after this, I start to go fuzzy.
Like Darren Aronofsky's would be more like straight kind of. It's not horror, but this would be in a very similar vein to that. The Witch would be similar to this.
The what?
The one with the two V's. The Witch.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
I caught the Witch because
the
two V. Yeah, it's like iClav divs.
Yeah.
Let the right one in. It's that kind of slow burner.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a slow burn. And it's definitely not like gory, jump scary type horror.
No.
But it's really good.
Yeah.
Really, really good. I really enjoy it. It only has like a 5.1 rating on IMDb and like a 57 rating on Metacritic. I didn't bother going near Rotten Tomatoes because I'd probably only make myself angry after I saw those two. But again, what the fuck do we care about ratings? Like, no. I really enjoy this film. Perhaps have more problems with it than some of the other films we've talked about. But like, hey, nothing's perfect.
No.
And this is definitely really, really enjoyable.
It is. No, and it is. I think the whole reason I ended up, I'm particularly fond of this film is because it's nice to see a film that's based about witches that's not necessarily laying out that they're evil or they're good or whatever. It's not clear in this.
What film were you watching?
No, yes, I know they're supposed to be bad in this, but it's not like they're going around eating children.
No, I know, yeah, there's not a massive body count in this film by any means.
No, and they're not doing horrible things in their day-to-day lives or anything like that.
No, they're just trying to usher in the birth of the Antichrist.
Yeah, who says that's a bad thing? But it's just that this could also just be normal people going around doing normal, like, everyday things. That has this like little sinister undertone running through it. Yeah,
no, that definitely is present. Like, especially with the three characters who we haven't named.
Yeah,
it's done very well. But I think that about fairly wraps it up and covers it. Unless there's anything else you'd like to add for it.
No.
Just watch it.
Yeah, just watch it. Really, really good score in it too. The music in it is really good.
The music is great actually. The music is great, score is good, and the choice of tunes throughout it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like classic rock and stuff in it. But it's done very well. It doesn't have the Zack Snyder Watchmen jarring effect.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, overall definitely would recommend this film.
Yeah.
As usual, we have no idea what we're going to cover next week because we never ever do.
No, we have about 4 or 5 fights about it.
Yeah, we'll figure it out and we'll have decided and recorded before next Monday as usual. I know we took a break last week, but
hey, fuck it was Paddy's Day. Our entire country was hungover.
Yeah, and we gave you guys 4 episodes in the space of 7 or 8 days, so
yeah, because we covered Diabolical.
So yeah, Diabolical has just been covered, and if you'd like you can go back and listen to those and all of our chats on The Boys, on MonoRants The Boys, or you can listen to our first couple of episodes, what are we, 8 or 9 now, on MonoRants at the Movies.
Yeah.
And if you want to get in touch with us, you can find us on Twitter at rantsmono, or on Instagram, it's monorants_the_boys, or you can send your own rants to monorantspodcast@gmail.com.
Or if you want us to cover a movie that you like.
Yeah, throw us an L.
Or you think we'll like.
Yeah, certainly throw us recommendations, requests, send them our way. And we will see you guys next week.
Toodaloo.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
We are Science Fiction Remnant.
This is the Funny Science Fiction Podcast.
We are the Caribbean Science Fiction Network.
We are MonoRants.
We are One Accord Level 2 Podcast.
This